You got a question, I got an answer for you right now. All right, let's go to Yanni in Columbia, Maryland. Yanni.
Oh, hey, Mr. Bernstein, how are you doing?
Good, how are you? What can I do to help you?
All right, so I had a business with you 6 years ago. Not business, what is it? We had a transaction, and I used your law firm to get my citizenship. So I wanted to just leave a comment. So what it was, I remember I was in the office, and you told me that the price you told me was a little bit more than what somebody else told me. And I said, why would I use you then? And you said, it's like going outside. If you're outside buying a car in a Toyota dealership, you get it for a price. But right now, you're in a BMW dealership. And I remember when you said that, when you said that to me, I was like, that's interesting. And I used you.
Right.
And I ain't going to lie, the experience was like that, because even when I went for my citizenship, the lawyer it wasn't you that came with me, but the lady you had with me, she came, and it was so smooth. So it was really like driving a BMW. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that because I had an experience.
So everything went well. You got everything.
Yes, I'm a citizen.
You got everything you paid for, and you had a great experience. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Okay. So, yeah, and I wanted to thank you for that. But the question I had today now was for my brother.
Yes.
He's actually in Jamaica right now because he was deported.
Oh, gosh.
He was deported before me and whatnot. But I remember you had told me in this situation when I came for my thing, you were saying I'm under a certain age. Like I think it was because I came here when I was 16 or under 16, and you said if my father was a citizen, then that makes me automatically a citizen. Right. Am I saying it correctly?
Under 18, under certain circumstances.
Under 18. Under certain circumstances. Okay, because I feel like I'm not sure, and that's what I called to ask the consult. That's what I wanted to ask. The question was for his.
All right, so your question is your brother a citizen? Did they deport a U.S. citizen? And by the way,
yes.
I probably in my career, no joking aside, have probably handled at least 20 or 30, somewhere in that range, people who were deported from the United States, that the United States actually deported U.S. citizens, and we brought them back on U.S. passports. So it happens a lot. It happens so many times that I've probably seen that case 20 or 30 times in my career. All right, so question for you. How old was your brother when he got his green card?
When he got his green card, he was 16 years old.
Okay, what year was this?
2000.
In the year 2000. And who sponsored him?
No, I'm sorry. It was 1996. He got deported in 2000.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So 1996, he was 16 years old.
Yes.
Okay, and who sponsored him?
My mom came to America and she married her husband, which was his stepfather. His stepfather was doing the filing because my mom was not a citizen.
Okay. So which parent was a citizen when he entered America?
All right. So his real father is a citizen, been a citizen for a long time. But his real dad did not file for him. My mom came to America and married her husband, and her husband was filing for him. His filing was not complete when he got deported. So the filing was never completed. But his real dad that he never grew up with was a citizen. And when he came here, sorry, go ahead.
Was his dad a citizen when he was born?
That question, I'm not sure for the answer for that. I think so, but I don't want to tell you yes, because his dad visited Jamaica, and that's how he met my mom. So I'm thinking he was, but I don't want to.
Okay, because if his father was a citizen, so if he came when he was 16 in 96, he was born in 1980, law says that if you are born to a foreign mother and a U.S. citizen father, and your U.S. citizen father lived in the United States 5 years before your birth, at any period of time after the U.S. citizen's father, age of 14, that automatically confers U.S. citizenship on you. So that's one route to look. The other route to look, I assume the father was never married to the mother.
No, never.
Okay, so that route is no good because the laws changed in 2000, and prior to 2000, to gain citizenship through the father, either the mother would have had to have passed away or the father would have had to have custody of him through a divorce. So none of that.
No, none of that. None of
that's the situation. So what you would want to look at is the first situation. When he was born, when your brother was born, he was an automatic U.S. citizen, just never knew it because his father was a U.S. citizen who was living in the United States 5 years prior to his birth.
I'm going to check into that.
And then if that's the case, then call us for a consultation and we can start talking about how we're going to prove all of this to get him. And then he's going to walk into the U.S. Embassy. Where is he, in Jamaica?
He's in Jamaica right now.
Then he's going to walk into the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica and get a U.S. passport. I'm sure he's not Hannibal Lecter, but even if he was Hannibal Lecter, he's entitled to a passport in that situation.
And you know, you told me that too back when you were saying everybody's qualified for one mistake. If you even have a one mistake, I think you were told me that you taught me that when I did my situation. You told me one mistake, people, you know.
So, but in his situation, he was a citizen. So if when he was born, you know, and it gives me, I would say definitely look into it, because if you're telling me that the man, you know, was in America and flew back to Jamaica, had a relationship with the mother, and his birth, it's very possible he was a citizen when he was born.
And that's where we're going to find that out.
All right.
But yeah, I definitely remember that story that, you know, when you told me the BMW dealership, it was funny. And
that sounds like something I'd say, yeah.
And it was like driving a BMW, and I thank you for that, because I've been a citizen right now. And, you know, back when I came to you, I was in some legal troubles too, and you were explaining, you know, you're a very good lawyer, and I just wanted to take the time to thank you, because I did thank you that time, but when they told me there was an ear show, so yeah, the question, I could have paid the $200 consultant fee and talked to you another time, but I wanted to make sure I gave my
thank you very much.
It's
my pleasure to talk to you for free. Find out that information and then pay the consultation if it's a positive thing.
Okay, Mr. Bernstein. Thank you again.
Be well.
All right, have a good one, yeah.
All right, let's go to Ola in South Amboy, New Jersey.
Hello.
Hi, Ola.
Thank you. Actually, my situation is this, and I've got two questions to ask on that situation. About 2 years ago, my spouse filed an I-130 for me while she was an LPR. Mm-hmm. But recently, she became a citizen, and I decided to upgrade by sending in my I-485. Like 2 weeks later, I got an approval as an action on the I-130. Recently, the I-130 was approved or sent to the NVC. We have since written to that effect for the NVC to send it back to
Did you file a new I-130 with the adjustment, or you gave a receipt notice?
The initial one.
You gave
the initial one.
Yeah, you just have to write the National Visa Center and say, I have an adjustment pending with this case. Please transfer it. That's fine.
Yes, we did that. We did that. So my question, and this morning, I also got RFIE for my I-485. I wonder why, because it was just fingerprint money received or something that was on it before. But now I just saw an RFIE, which I'm waiting to get the letter. Now the two questions is the could the RFIE connected the complaint?
I have no idea until we read what it says. It's an RFE, request for evidence.
Okay.
So what you need to do is wait for it and then call me back.
Okay. But the second question is that the approved I-130 approval that was sent to the NVC, would I still need to go through an interview? Is it likely when it gets back to USCIS because it's already been approved?
Yes, you will still need an interview.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Let's go to Chris in Dodge City, Kansas. Chris.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, Brad.
What's going on?
Yeah, Brad, there's something I want to clarify from you. I got a denial on my marriage, and I was on B1, B2 visa, which they gave me 6 months entry, but the visa itself is not expired. So the denial letter states that I'm not eligible. I'm not eligible. So I want to see what is the way forward.
You filed an adjustment on a marriage. Why was your case denied? I don't understand.
Yeah, I filed an adjustment. The one I-130 and the I-485
why was it denied? Just because they said you're not eligible?
Yeah, they said. Yeah.
Who sponsored you? Who sponsored you?
Come again?
Who sponsored you?
Yeah, my wife.
Is she a resident or a citizen?
She's a citizen.
So you are eligible. I don't know what they're saying. There's another reason besides that. What's the second reason? What's the other? That's the only reason they said you're not eligible to adjust if you're married to a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, for my B1, B2, because they said I was supposed to be out of the country before I thought, but the time they gave me the 6 months.
No, something is wrong. You are eligible to adjust. If you come here on a visitor's visa and you stay here out of status for 39 years, you can still adjust. So I'm not sure what you did wrong or what immigration maybe made an error. Maybe you did everything right. This is what you need to do. You need to have a consultation with me. Send me the denial letter. We need to refile a new adjustment application for you immediately. Fix the problem before you get put in deportation. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let's go to Jamie in Brooklyn.
Hello.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Good. I got 2 questions for you. The first one is I'm a permanent resident in 3 months. And now I want to travel to my home country, but the issue is my green card and my passport doesn't have the same last name. So I want to know.
Is it because of a marriage? Is that why?
Yeah. Yes.
Just travel.
Yes,
Just travel with your marriage certificate.
Huh?
Travel with your marriage certificate. You're fine.
Okay. So the second one is, can I change my green card to my maiden name?
Yes.
To match them both?
Yeah, but it's going to be months before you get it.
A month.
Not a month. Months with an S.
Okay.
You could travel you could travel with your married name in your green card, your maiden name on your passport, and your marriage certificate to show, look, maiden, married, maiden. It's perfectly fine.
All right.
All right?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Jess in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hello. Hey, Brad.
Hi.
Hi. I just was calling to get a clarification. Yesterday, I listened to the show, and this guy called and asked for his friend who was in a same-sex marriage, and then the husband ended up trying to call USCIS.
Yeah, the guy from San Francisco, Duda.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and then I listened to it, and I was like, I was kind of in the same situation, but you said it wasn't an issue of moral character. He was fine, but I was in the same situation with a bona fide marriage with all my proofs still. I have it. I have them, and while we were separated, I was pregnant and I had a baby. So I spoke with you before, and then you said it was a moral character.
Well, you have a different. Sounds like a different situation. Let's talk about the other guy's situation, then we'll get to you. That guy's situation was he was in a same-sex marriage. He had a 2-year green card. Then he made an application to remove the conditions of his residence. That got approved. He got a 10-year green card. He's done with immigration, and at that point, sometime thereafter, his marriage breaks down. He was in a bona fide marriage with the man up until that point. They traveled together. They had financial records together. They have proof that they lived together. And now the aggrieved husband, who's angry that the marriage broke up, is now saying, I want to get back at the gentleman who got his green card, and I'm going to write to say it was not a real marriage. And what I said is, it's too late. He could write whatever he wants. Immigration's already looked at this marriage twice already. They gave you a 2-year card, a 10-year card. Nobody is looking back at this marriage again and is going to take your green card away. But when you file your citizenship, that letter could possibly be in your application, maybe not. Be prepared to prove that it was a bona fide marriage. They'll ask you a few questions, but they're not going to do a full investigation. So I told him he's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay, now your situation, you were in a same-sex marriage, and what you told me is you got pregnant. So obviously...
No, it's not a same-sex. It's a traditional
marriage. Okay, yes. And you got pregnant with your husband's baby or with another man's baby?
It was another man's
baby. So now the question becomes...
After the 10 years.
After the 10 years. Okay.
Yes.
So the marriage broke up at that point. So
yes, it broke.
So that happens. So again, the situation is after you get your 10-year green card and immigration has already approved it, you know, ex-spouses can write immigration all they want. Nobody's coming to investigate you. The only time this issue would come up again is when you do your citizenship. Be prepared to prove that your marriage was real. They may have some questions about it, but I don't think they're going to go, it's not going to be, they're not bringing out, every investigator in the local area to go figure it out. So you'll be fine. Okay.
All right, and I just wanted to clarify.
Now, if, for example, I'll give you, I don't know when the baby was born. Let's say, for example, you remove the conditions of your permanent residence, I'm making up, December 1st, 2020. And in February 2021, you give birth to a child that is not your husband's child. Well, you can do the math and say, wait a second, you got pregnant with another man's child before you went for your interview with your husband to prove it's a bona fide marriage. So now they may have other questions about, an issue of fraud at the time of your interview. Not to say it was fraud, but they may have questions about it. That's different than, that would be different than you remove your conditions December 1st, 2018.
Let's say if I remove it August, if I removed it I signed my paperwork on August 2012. That's when I signed my paperwork. And then
when was the case approved?
I got my card, I think around April.
Of what year?
That's the time I got pregnant.
April of what year?
2013.
And when was the baby born?
December 2013.
Okay, so right around the time that you got approved your marriage, you had an extramarital affair. They will have questions about it, for sure. Yes. But as long as you're in a bona fide marriage, people, we just talked on Hump Day 2 days ago. I think it was like, what was it, 40% of marriages?
Yes.
Have extramarital affairs, so it's not unheard of.
Yes. It was, it started getting abusive and crazy, and then I just, you gave that example one time.
So are you a citizen now?
No, I have my interview coming up next month.
So you may want to speak to a lawyer about questions that may come up at your interview.
Okay.
All right, hold on one second. Especially if you're in Georgia. They're very hard in Georgia, immigration.
Yes.
Hold on. All right, let's go to Eduardo in San Jose, California.
Hi, Mr. Brad. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's so funny because she was just talking about me on the previous call.
Oh,
remember yesterday?
That was your friend.
I thought for my friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So funny, man.
Well, I guess you're a big topic of conversation. What can I say?
Yeah. No, I'm just calling because I'm in San Jose today, and my friend is gonna get married to her husband, and she has an 8-year-old child. So what do they need? Both of them need 2 485s and 2 I-130s, and that's it?
All right, so this is about somebody else now, right? Not you.
Yeah.
So you have a friend who's a woman who's marrying a man in a traditional, regular marriage. And she has a child. So you're going to file one full adjustment for her and a separate full adjustment for the 8-year-old. So yes, I-45, I-130 for wife, I-45, I-130 for stepchild.
And they can also do the 765 for the kid and the I-131 for the kid.
Yes, even though the child's not going to work, you do it anyway so the child can get a social.
Oh, so he can travel, right, with her?
Yes.
Okay, so it means 2 separate fees, one for her, one for the kid.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. And by the way,
Brett. I love your show, man.
By the way, the fee for the kid is less because they're filing an adjustment together. So the fee for the wife is $1,760, but the fee for the child, because the child's under 12, is $750 plus $535, whatever that adds up to. So
because he doesn't pay the biometrics, I believe, right?
Right. So it's $750 plus $535 for the child. They get a reduced fee. And the mother's $1,225 and $535, which is $1,760.
Awesome, Brad. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
All right, let's go to Stacy in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Stacy.
Yes. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Brad.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good.
Well, because my husband filed his N400 application for citizenship 4 years ago. and he never got approval, but he did pass the test and everything. And it's been because he got arrested 5 years ago. This month made it 5 years. But he did the application for citizenship 4 years. It's going on 4 years. And he was the only thing that he didn't.
What was the arrest for?
Battery.
Okay.
But the case was dropped.
It was dismissed.
Dismissed, yes.
And that's the only thing he has ever had in his life?
The only thing.
And the case, if the case was fully dismissed, and that's the only thing, what I would suggest we do is a threat of a de novo review with a mandamus, which is force the government to have a federal judge either force the government to make a decision, or actually a de novo review would be for a federal judge to make a decision, him or herself. If you went for a citizenship interview and your case is pending more than 120 days by right, by statute, by law, 120 days, no decision on your citizenship, you have a right to take the case out of the government's hands and ask a federal judge to make a decision.
Okay.
It's 4 years.
But do you know why do you know why that happened? Because it's been 4 years.
I think maybe because he actually had a case, so it had to be, go up the flagpole, speak to a supervisor. As soon as you have any sort of arrest situation for citizenship, the decision's not by the officer who interviews you, it's by a supervisor. And I guess somewhere in the bureaucracy, the case got lost.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so now it's time to threaten de novo review or actually do it, threaten a mandamus, actually do it, or some combination of the two.
Do you think they're waiting for him to have like the 5 years? Because he's got 5 years.
No, I think they completely forgot about him. It has nothing to do with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And Nyakim Gatwech is a model of South Sudanese descent who is known to our hundreds of thousands of fans as the Queen of Dark. With her deeply pigmented skin and her strong sense of self, and Nyakim has turned adversity she has faced in her life into a powerful global message. Breaking down conventional stereotypes of beauty, welcome Nyakim Gatwech to Brad Show Live. Your background is South Sudanese, you're African. Yeah. When did your family immigrate to the United States of America?
In 2007, I was 15. That's when we migrated to America from Kenya.
How did you make it from Sudan to Kenya?
All right, so my family left South Sudan in 1993, right before I was born. My mom fled South Sudan. There was a war, so my mom fled South Sudan and went to Ethiopia in 1993. And then I was born in Gambela in Ethiopia. And then from Gambela, when I was 6 months, we went to a refugee camp called Dima, which was in Ethiopia. And that's where most of my childhood, I grew up there.
Can you describe to me what it was like being in a refugee camp?
I came to America and I'm just like, you have a girl, like you take a lot for granted. And without even knowing, because like you never know the struggle of going to bed, not having food to eat. You never know the struggle of sleeping next to my mom and holding me and not knowing that I might be, the rubber might come in and just hurt us, And then just like every night when we sleeping at 10 and my mom holding, because she was a single mom with her 5 children, holding all her children in her arm, hoping that nothing bad happened every single day. And, waking up in the morning and just hoping that today is not going to be a tent that's going to be burned down with her and her kids in it. Having that thought as a mother, that was something my mom had to go through over and over again. And it's like, I knew how hard it is on my mom, not having my father there, not having anyone there. And just every night her going to sleep with fear of, thinking that she might lose her children. She might not, her children might die out of hunger or whatever the case was.
You had 5 siblings. You were one of 5.
There were 6 of us to begin with.
No father.
No father. And she lost 2 of her children in the process of, leaving South Sudan and walking months. She was 8 months pregnant. Right? She's about to pop. She was 8 months pregnant and walked months from South Sudan to Ethiopia. And then on the way there, she lost one of my siblings, which I didn't know. I've never met her. And then in refugee camp in Dima, we lost my brother. He had kidney issue, like he had kidney sickness, and we lost him. And then there's 4 of us left.
And what did you do while you were in? Did they give you school?
There's different schools. The school where if you're a refugee with money, your kid go there. If you're a refugee with no money, your kid go to the public school, right? And that's where I went.
Where do you get money?
You know how we use wood to cook, right?
Right.
So some people that don't want to go to the forest and cut the wood. So my mom would go and cut the wood and then sell the wood to the people that have money. And that's how she was able to make some type of money for, for us.
So you immigrated about 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How was your mom smart enough to figure out, of all the refugees, to get her and her children
killed them out of there
from a refugee camp, chopping wood and selling it just to, put some food on the table to get this whole family here? What'd she do?
So the UN were there, and then they have this thing, I think you call it the lottery, right? They put your name and then you get picked. And then if you get picked from the one out of blue moon, if your family get picked, then you come to America. 2001, my sister got picked, my older sister, the one that lived in Buffalo, New York. At the time, she was 15 and she was engaged, right? And then she got told she and one other person could come to America. And my mom was like, okay, so you and your husband need to go to America and then start the process of bringing us. So then she came to America in 2001 and she started the process, something called Mother Farm, to bring us to America. And they had a host family in Buffalo, New York, who was able to help them with the process. And then 3 years later, she's like, the process is gonna take way longer in Kenya, in Ethiopia, so you guys need to go to Kenya. So then we jumped on the bus and then we went to Kenya, a refugee camp called Kakuma in Kenya in 2003. And then the process just kept dragging on until 2007. 2007, they was like, okay, you guys got approved.
You came as refugees as well?
Yes.
And where did you come to live? In Buffalo with your sister?
Buffalo.
When you came here, did you have a concept of the racism that you were going to encounter here in the United States?
When I think about racism and colorism, was something as a kid that I didn't experience back home, right? The only thing I was worried about, or my mom was worried about, was our safety, right? Clean water to drink, food to eat. It wasn't like, oh, I feel like I'm out of place, because the thing is that I grew up around so many different people, right? And the United Nations, majority of them that came to the refugee camp were white, right? And then I grew up in Ethiopia, where I seen people from Ethiopian country, they lighter than me. And even though in Kenya, so I knew that there was different type of people around the world. And the way my mom raised me is like, you're not the only kind. There's so many different kind of people. So I knew that. So coming to America as a child at age 15 and just being hit with colorism and racism, and I was just like, I did not expect that. How would I put this? Like, just kind of experiencing a different kind of struggle that I wasn't prepared for.
Were you excited to come to America? You say, oh my God, my struggle is over?
It's over. I'm about to come here and be a big time supermodel, buy a mansion, live the American dream. The way America was praised back home is like it's heaven. Because, they say you fly, and then, I've never been on a flight before. So they say you fly, and you get on the flight and you fly and you go to heaven. That's what America is, at least.
What was the reality of coming here as a refugee versus your thoughts of going to heaven from the refugee camp?
I didn't know English at all, right? Mind you, like, my education, I didn't know English because it's like I barely, I was 15 and they put me to 7th grade, At 15, I should have been, because my, my education level was not where it should be, right? And then it's like, so they put me to 7th grade at 15, and, I'm a very friendly person, right? So I'm outgoing. I'm always a happy child. I'm trying to make new friends, and I'm, and in Buffalo, New York, there's not many Sudanese people. There's not people that look like me, but me having that mindset that, yeah, you're Black, African American. You look like you could be Ethiopian, like, you're white. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is my first time seeing an Asian person. Okay, where you from? Like, I'm that type of person that want to know, where you're from. And then the kids weren't like that. Kid won't like that. I just got, kids started bullying me.
What was the bullying you experienced?
So just kid like making fun of me at school, being too dark, or so many Black jokes, right? From Black kids, from white kid. And I'm just like, I was so confused, because I'm like, how can you make fun of me when you're a Black person? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what makes you so different from me? So I would come home and cry to my mom. My mom just being the wonderful mother she is. She would always just give me that word of affirmation, just reminding me that you're beautiful. Don't listen to what they say. And then for so long, of course, you're going to say that you're my mother.
Did you think you were ugly? Did they make you think you were ugly?
Oh, it damaged me so much that I considered about bleaching my skin color. I was so depressed for a long period of time.
Color?
I consider that. Because I wanted to just fit in. I just wanted to just fit in. I just wanted to be like, okay, you know what? I want boys to find me attractive. I want to just, because, there's these little kids, 15 years old, walking the hallway, holding boys' hand. And I would come in the cafeteria. I would sit at the table and a bunch of kids would just get up and leave. It got that bad. I'm like, I have some type of disease or something. So one day my niece was like, Auntie, why are you so dark? So I took her to a park. She's like, you can't come with me. My friend would run away from me. It's not even about her. It's the fact that she was born in America, right? And just having this American beauty standard of what beauty is supposed to look like, right? She was what, like 6?
How close did you actually say I considered it? How close did you come?
I bought the products. I bought the products.
You bought the products. Who stopped you, or why did you stop yourself?
My sister, my loving sister. That's who stopped me, because she bleached her skin color. So I bought the product, and she already had some product. She sit there and have a long talk with me, and telling me that even if I bleach my skin color, you know, I would look different from the outside, but I know how I feel from the inside. Because she said she regretted it. She's like, I wish I could go back to the way my skin was.
When did you start to feel comfortable and confident as a dark-skinned woman that I'm beautiful?
So I stayed in Buffalo, New York for 2 years, and then we moved to Minnesota in high school. You know, I moved to Minnesota, and a large population of Africans in Minnesota, right? Somalian, Sudanese. And I just felt like I was home. Like I was just around people that knew, oh, you're Sudanese, hey, what's up? You know, didn't look at me any differently. I had a friend group, right? These people truly want to be my friend to, you know, not to make fun of me, not to try to clown me or throw some black jokes. They just want to be my friends. In 10th grade, 11th grade, I decided that to build a community around me that appreciate Nyakim for who she is. And then that's when my healing began. That's when my confidence started, little by little. Every morning I wake up and look at myself in the mirror and just remind myself how beautiful you are, how blessed you are. Like, you came from a refugee camp, from nothing. So how you can let the opinion of these little kids or anybody? I started working on my self-confidence, self-love. Because when I was back in refugee camp, I was a happy child.
You were a happy child.
I have nothing. I was a happy.
Amazing. You're in the refugee camp. You're a happy kid.
And we barely have nothing. We probably wouldn't have food to eat before I go to sleep. But I was just so happy. And I came to America, land of opportunity, the land of freedom. And I was just like, not happy.
Was there a time when you said, I want to go back to the refugee camp? I'd rather be in
yeah. I told Mom I want to go back to D. I told my mom, like, can we go back? Mom was like, what?
How'd you get the concept, even back in the refugee camp, that you wanted to be a model?
I don't know. Like, this is what happened. My mom would tell me some story, right? As a kid, right? We use clay to build toys, right? So she said, the way I would build my toy, the toy that I play with, my toy would have on some heels, a little cute purse. Like, I just always have love for fashion. And deep down, I just knew that I'm meant to be in fashion one way or the other.
It's amazing. It was like in you.
Yeah, it was just a passion of mine that I have inside of me, with that feeling that I can accomplish that.
So you came to America. You said to your mom, I want to be a model. Did that start in Buffalo? Did that start in Minnesota?
Oh, I came to America and I told Mom I want to be a model, but it didn't start it because I just didn't feel beautiful. And I'm like, models are supposed to be beautiful. I would watch American Next Top Model and I barely see anybody that looked like me. And I was like, maybe people that look like me are not meant to be models. And I was like, I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel worthy. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not for me. I'm gonna go to school and be a teacher. Until high school, 10th grade, 11th grade, started working on my self-confidence and just started reminding myself, this is something you were so passionate about before you came to America. Why you let the opinion of others stop you? And then from that point on, I did my first show, which was in, what's it called? St. Cloud State. You know, they have these event called African Nights. They will have people, designer, you know, that go to school to be a designer, walk. And then one of the, my tutor asked me, he's like, yo, I need you to wear some of my clothes. And I was like, wait, what? Me? Why? She's like, because you're beautiful. Like, so then I was so nervous, but I loved it. So then I graduated high school. And I'm gonna go to New York and model, you know? And I couldn't afford living in New York City, right? But my sister's still in Buffalo. So I want to stay with my sister in Buffalo, New York. Then I would take a train or the bus to go to New York City. And then for a year, 2 years, nothing. No agency want to sign me.
What were they saying to you?
We have somebody that looks like you already. You're not tall enough. Your body is not really shaped the way a model body's supposed to shape. Can you tone down? Mind you, I was 99 pounds.
Did you ever want to give up?
Yeah, first it was like these kids bullying me and not being comfortable in my skin color. And then now I feel like I got a little bit of confidence and I try to pursue my dream. Now is this industry turning me down. You know what? I don't think I'm meant for this. Let me go back home and go be a teacher again. So I came back to Minnesota and decided to go to school and get my education, degree. So I went to school and I was teaching at an elementary school. Literally, my life was all, I'm like, I'm good. This is what I need to do. Right. After a year, I was like, okay, you know what? Modeling is your passion. So I'm like, don't completely give up. Do it as a hobby because I love taking pictures. I love being in front of the camera. I feel like I have a message that I want to say. And for me to say that message is through pictures. And I feel like I could relate, so then I just started doing modeling on the side as for fun.
Right.
I wasn't getting paid for it. I don't think it was going to be anything, a career or anything like that. So I just started doing it for fun. I would take pictures with local photographer. And then we would do a photo shoot, and then I'll put it up on my Instagram and write a caption about my experience, me, not being comfortable with myself and just telling the world that I'm here and I'm okay with the way I look. I don't care if you accept it or not. So it was just a motivational caption that I would put up for myself, just to remind myself how far I've come.
So how'd you take off?
My photo went viral.
Just on Instagram?
On Instagram.
Which photo is this?
One of this picture, we did a concept called Different Melanin, which we had about 30 girls, were all Black women that came from different shapes. They were really, really light skin and really, really dark skin, who happened to be me. The light skinned girl, she's very pale, but she's Black. So we're sitting next to each other, and somebody snapped a picture of us. And then that picture, like the way our skin color contrasts, and that picture just went banana. I went to sleep with 2,000 followers, and I woke up with 30K.
28 overnight.
Overnight, 30,000 followers overnight. I was like, what is happening,
What do you think that says about society?
There's a lot of people in this world that accept me and okay with the way I look.
So what brands now have you been modeling for?
And I've worked with L'Oreal, amazing, company. I worked with Fenty. I worked with Annabelle. I worked with...
So now your dream from the refugee camp came true.
Came true.
Amazing.
Came true. Although, the discrimination against, Black girl model in the model industry is still there.
I can imagine.
Now it's like I'm delivering a message out there through my platform that I didn't know I have. Now I have a voice. I'm using my voice to just remind little girl that went through what I went through, little Nyakims out there, that you can do this. You come from a refugee camp to America, go through being bullied, go through depression, and make it here, Now
your modeling nickname, I understand, is now the Queen of the Dark. I assume you're proud of it and feel great about it.
Amazing about it.
Coming from not less than 10 years ago, you wanted to bleach your skin.
Yeah.
And what is your involvement in the George Floyd protests and the Black Lives Matter protests in Minnesota? Were you involved in that?
So I went to a couple protesting, and then I also did a couple interviews just to talk about how I felt about the situation and how injustice it was. And then being a creative, or being a model, I was like, I need to do more.
Tell me about this 8 minutes and 40 seconds project. What is that?
So me and one of the photographers came up with a concept where I did a photo shoot, contributing to George Floyd, and, just holding this picture, and I posted on my Instagram and just wrote a message of how I felt. And I was wearing a red dress, which represent blood.
Are you a U.S. citizen now?
Not yet.
Oh. But you're a lawful resident?
I am a permanent resident.
Wait, where can people follow you and your work?
So I'm on Instagram, Queen Nyakim Official. I'm on Facebook, which is Nyakim Gatwech. I'm on Twitter, which is Queen Nyakim Kim. So even if you just Google my name.
What's coming up? Any amazing projects we should be looking out for?
When I was back home, I was 15. I was in refugee camp, and I had my period, right? I was at that time of the month back home, and didn't have
female.
Exactly. And every time I had my period, I was so my pain, So I feel like I want to have a nonprofit organization where I could go back home and have these products and give it to these girls, be like, hey, this is what you need when so that's one of the ways that I want to give up.
Have you started this organization? That's an amazing
I'm working on it. I'm talking to a couple of people about it. I'm like, I'm like, it's so hard to start a nonprofit. I'm just like, what way do I go about it? How do I give back?
That is something that people would sign up for and people would donate for.
Yeah.
What's your American dream?
So my American dream was I wanted to come to America, became a supermodel, make a ton of money, and buy my mom a mansion, buy my mom a Lamborghini. Actually, being in America, my American dream changed. It's not all about the money, the fancy car and stuff like that. My American dream became where I just wanted to give back to people, give back to where I come from, not only take care of my family, but giving back to where I come from.
Thank you for coming on, and Nyakim Gatwech.
Thank you for having me.
You are the American dream, coming from nothing, and look at you now, right? Anyways, well, best of luck on your career. You don't need it from me. You're already there, and congratulations on all your great success and future success.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.